babes, it's B. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my August 2020 plan with me. For this month's theme, I decided to go with mushrooms. This is actually an idea that my sister gave me. We just went on a trip to Puerto Rico, and as we were walking back from dinner to our little house cabana Airbnb thing, she saw a mushroom and she was like, "You should do that for August." And I was like, okay. So that's exactly what I did. I actually took her suggestion very literally, and now my whole month is centered around mushrooms. For the cover page, I drew 3 mushrooms. Right now I am drawing the first 2, which is these mushrooms that have the red top and the white spots. This is immediately what I thought of when she said I should do mushrooms, though that's not the mushroom we actually saw. But this is actually the type of mushroom that just first comes to mind whenever I think of mushrooms, which is why I kind of have these all throughout all of my spreads. And then I also added a third little mushroom in between them just to kind of balance it out and fill in a bit of space. And at the bottom of the page, so that the mushrooms weren't just floating in midair, I added some grass and I just used a couple different greens and filled it in as best as I could. And I also added some sparkles because also to me, the mushrooms are kind of magical because they make me think of like enchanted forests and magical things like that. I was even going to draw a fairy on here, but I just thought that would be too complicated considering my last theme, which was complicated and it took a lot of work, and I just wanted to do something a little more simple this month and more doodly and cute. Right now I've just written the word August in a kind of loose cursive using my Sakura fine liner in the size 05, which is the thickest one that I have, and now I'm going in with the 01 size to kind of outline the mushrooms and all of the dots that it has, just to kind of define them a little bit more, since I drew them only with the colors instead of actually doing the outline first, which is something a little backwards for me, but I kind of like the way that it looked. So that's the last thing that I'm going to be doing for this cover page and moving on to the other side. For my quote this month, I chose "I am a fun guy." I thought it was funny because it's a pun and a play on words, and I love that kind of stuff. So of course I used that as my quote. And for the actual lettering here, I made the word fungi kind of mushroomy. I colored in the letters with mushroom designs, and I even made the I at the end a little red mushroom, and I thought that was really cute and a good way to kind of incorporate my theme into this quote page. So that's what I did, and I'm really glad that I thought of doing that because I think it turned out super cute, and it was also a really simple way to actually make this quote page go with my theme. Around the quote, I added the same sparkles with my gold pen, and I also added some washi tapes on the page just so that it would look a little less empty and a little more cute. And that was it for the quote page. Moving on, now I'm doing my calendar spread, and for this month, instead of doing a black calendar with black lines, I actually used a brown Crayola Super Tip just so that it would look a little softer and it would go with the theme a little bit more. By softer, I mean just not as harsh and dark with the black. I tried to use as little black as possible in all of these spreads just because I thought that browns would look a little nicer with the mushrooms, and I am glad that I did that. I tried to use the blacks only for outlines and for any words that I had to write, and that was pretty much it. For the calendar, I just drew a giant calendar, and on the sides I have my Instagram tracker and a to-do list. Then on the bottom of the page and on top where I had a little bit of extra space, I drew some mushrooms, the little red ones, the small brown ones, and some fatter brown ones. Just a variety of mushrooms that I tried to put into all of these spreads. I also wrote the word August up top in the same loose cursive style with the same fine liner that I used for the cover page, and I also wrote the days of the week on top of the calendar, which I colored over a little bit with the grass, but I could still see it in person, though it's a little less visible on camera. Then I added some more sparkles around the mushrooms and around the page just to fill in a little bit of empty space and make this spread look a lot cuter and magical. Now I'm drawing these little dots in the corner of each square of my calendar using 3 different light browns in a pattern, which is going to be the background color for my numbers when I write those in. And then I finished off the spread with some washi tape. The next spread that I am doing in this video is my social media planning page. This is something that I have been using since May because I started my Instagram in April and I needed a way to be organized about it. The layout has stayed pretty much the same. I only list the days that I post, which are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But I felt that that wasn't the best way to plan out my social medias just because the rest of the days were missing. So if I wanted to post on a Tuesday, that wouldn't even be listed for me to write down a post idea. So instead, I'm drawing out this mini calendar that has all the days of the month and I can just write in whenever I want to post. And on the other side of the page, I'm going to have a brain dump so I can have any ideas for posts that I want to make. Around the mini calendar, I added some more mushrooms and I even added a new type. I keep trying to switch up the mushrooms and keep them a little bit different. And then I also added some grass under them and using my gold pen, some more sparkles, and to finish off the spread, some washi tape. Now, like I mentioned before, on the other side, I have this brain dump, so I'll be able to write down any ideas I have for my social medias or any ideas in general that come to my head for anything in life. It really is a brain dump where you can put anything. There's no right or wrong way to really use this spread, which is why I love it so much, and I keep it in all of my bullet journal setups. For the actual page, I wrote brain dump at the top with the same loose cursive I've been using throughout, and at the bottom I'm drawing a couple of mushrooms, the red ones, the brown ones. I think these mushrooms are pretty easy to draw, which is great for me because I have been needing an easy theme. But they just look a little more complicated because I try to add shadows with a darker color, and I also go in with a smaller fine liner to add a little bit more detail. But it's really simple. It's just a basic shape with a few extra lines. So that's what I'm doing right now, actually. With a smaller fine liner, I'm adding a little bit more detail, and then I went in and did the grass as usual. Now I'm using my favorite gold gel pen to add some sparkles, and then the same Crayola super tip that I've been using for all the boxes and calendars to kind of box in the page. The next spread that I am doing is my mood tracker. For my mood tracker, I drew a ton of different mushrooms, fat, skinny, tall, short, all of the ones that I could think of. I really tried to do a variety so it didn't all look the same. And I also filled up the page quite a lot. I think this is gonna look really nice once I actually color it in, because right now it looks a little plain, just black and white. But I'm really excited to actually use this mood tracker because I'm excited for the end product. As you can see, I drew a ton of little mushrooms, and I even used the big mushroom in the top left corner. That's gonna be my key. I thought that was a cute way of actually putting my key into this spread instead of just drawing a box and saying it was my key. So for my key, I have the moods happy, sad, annoyed, lazy, motivated, and neutral. Then to fill up all of the empty space, I just added a ton of sparkles. Moving on, now I'm doing my habit tracker. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I have a love-hate relationship with these habit trackers. Honestly, I haven't used them at all, but I keep doing them hoping that I will. I just kind of forget to actually fill them in, even though I do complete some of the habits. So I keep trying again and again. So of course I'm adding a habit tracker into this month's bullet journal setup because I'm trying yet again to fill these in, and hopefully I will succeed. I chose 6 habits this month instead of 9 just because I wanted to not challenge myself as much, because this is a challenge in itself. I am choosing the habits to read, put in my retainer, make my bed, wake up at least 8 a.m., journal, and clean my room. And then to decorate the page, I added some mushrooms at the bottom, and I of course added the grass. And right now I'm adding the little bit of details to the mushrooms before I actually go and finish off the spread with my gold sparkles to fill up all the empty space around my habit tracker. The next spread that I'm doing is my gratitude log. This is something that I have been using since June, and I really love this spread, which is why I keep putting it in my bullet journal setups. I feel like that it's a really good way to stay grateful for everything that you have, since a lot of things that we have is taken for granted. So I'm trying not to do that. So that's why I have this. Basically, I'll write down something every day that I'm grateful for that day. It can be something really small. It doesn't have to be something super deep and emotional, but still, I find that it's a really good way to stay grateful for everything. And to decorate the page, I added these 2 little red mushrooms at the bottom and added grass and sparkles around them as well. And actually on this spread, my gold pen actually ran out of ink, so now I'm using this gold brush pen. The next page that I'm doing is my August playlist. For this month, I didn't actually cut out the album covers because my printer, as you could see from last month, had actually run out of ink. So I just wrote down the songs that were currently my favorite, which right now I have been listening to the Folklore album by Taylor Swift, and I really like it, so I put that one on here, just the whole album. And I also have Dopamine by Jessie J, How I Look on You by Ariana Grande, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, Rain on Me by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande. And those are all of the songs that I have on my playlist for August this month. And at the bottom, of course, added some mushrooms, and to fill in the empty space, I added some sparkles, though not with my gold pen, just with this substitute because it ran out of ink, like everything in my life apparently. And then I tried to go back with my gold pen in case it had actually had some sparkle in it left, but it really didn't. So, and here I am adding some final touches of washi tape. The last spread that I am doing in this video is my weekly spread for the first full week of August. For this weekly spread, I decided to do a Dutch door spread. I really actually like these, but I don't do them very often, so I decided to do it for this month for the first week, just so that I could do something a little bit different for me. Right now, I'm writing in the days and the numbers of the days. I'm using the loose cursive that I've been using throughout these spreads. And on the right side of the page, I have an events bar. Here, I'll write down any important events that are coming up, though right now it's not really much, but I still wanted to add this events bar to my weekly spread just in case. On the left side of the page, where I had a little bit of extra room, I drew 2 little mushrooms in the bottom just to add the theme in there, of course, and also I had some space to fill up. And I'm doing the red mushroom and a smaller brown mushroom, and at the top of the page, in that little space that I have left, I drew a little mini calendar, and that's where I'm gonna highlight the week that I'm actually on, and I added some sparkles, of course. And to finish off this spread, I added some washi tapes. So this is the final flip through of my August 2020 bullet journal setup. I really hope you guys love this theme. I am so happy with the way that it turned out. I think it looks so cute and so magical, and I'm also so glad that it's really simple for me to draw, considering my July theme, which is very complicated and detail oriented. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, comment something nice down below, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more videos from me. And turn on the post notifications so you know when I upload my next video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!